What if I told you that you could learn Spanish in 3 months, master programming in 6 months, or become proficient in drawing in just 30 days? Most people would call this impossible, but Scott Young proved them wrong. He learned MIT's entire 4-year computer science curriculum in just 12 months, teaching himself everything from calculus to artificial intelligence. This is the power of ultralearning. Today we are diving into ultralearning. Master hard skills, outsmart the competition, and accelerate your career by Scott Young. Scott is not just a productivity expert who talks theory. He is someone who has actually done what he teaches. He has learned multiple languages, mastered complex subjects, and helped thousands of people accelerate their learning journey. This book is your blueprint for becoming an ultralearner yourself. The first principle is meta-learning, learning how to learn before you actually start learning. Most people jump straight into studying without understanding the best methods for their specific subject. Meta-learning is like creating a map before starting a journey. You spend roughly 10% of your total learning time researching the best techniques, resources, and strategies for your particular skill or subject. Take Benny Lewis, the famous polyglot who speaks over 10 languages. Before learning any new language, he spends time researching the most effective methods for that specific language. For Japanese, he discovered that learning kanji characters through stories and visual associations worked better than rote memorization. For Spanish, he found that conversation practice from day one was more effective than grammar drills. This meta-learning phase saved him months of inefficient studying and helped him become fluent faster than traditional language learners. The second principle is focus, developing the ability to concentrate intensely on learning without distractions. In our world of constant notifications and social media, the ability to focus deeply has become a superpower. Ultralearners cultivate what psychologists call flow state, that magical zone where time seems to stop and learning becomes effortless. The key is eliminating all distractions and working in focused blocks of time. Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, exemplifies this principle perfectly. When he was completing his PhD at MIT, he would wake up at 5 in the morning and work on his dissertation for 4 hours straight before checking any emails or messages. He kept his phone in another room and used website blockers on his computer. This intense focus allowed him to complete his PhD faster than his peers, while also writing multiple books and maintaining excellent grades. The result? He became one of the youngest professors ever tenured at Georgetown University. The third principle is directness, learning by doing the actual thing you want to get good at, not just studying about it. Many people make the mistake of spending months reading about a skill instead of actually practicing it. If you want to learn public speaking, you need to speak in public, not just read books about it. If you want to learn coding, you need to build real projects, not just watch tutorials. Consider the story of David Perell, who wanted to become a better writer. Instead of enrolling in expensive writing courses or reading dozens of books about writing, he started writing online every single day. He published articles, engaged with readers, and learned from real feedback. Within 2 years, he built a massive following and turned his writing skills into a successful business. His direct approach of actually writing instead of just studying about writing accelerated his progress exponentially. The fourth principle is DRILL, breaking down complex skills into smaller components and practicing the most difficult parts intensively. Just like athletes drill specific moves repeatedly, ultralearners identify their weakest points and focus extra attention on improving them. This is about quality practice, not just quantity. Take the example of Josh Waitzkin, the chess prodigy featured in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Instead of playing countless full games, Josh would spend hours drilling specific endgame positions where he was weakest. He would set up the same position dozens of times in practice until his responses became automatic. This targeted drilling approach helped him become a chess master at just 16 years old, and later apply the same principles to become a world champion in martial arts. The fifth principle is retrieval. Actively recalling information from memory rather than passively reviewing it. Most students highlight text and reread notes, but research shows that testing yourself is far more effective for long-term retention. The act of struggling to remember strengthens neural pathways and makes memories more durable. Medical students at Washington University discovered this principle when they started using active recall instead of traditional studying methods. Instead of reading textbooks repeatedly, they would close their books and try to explain medical concepts out loud as if teaching someone else. They created flashcards for complex procedures and tested themselves regularly. Students who used this retrieval-based approach scored significantly higher on medical board exams and retained information much longer than those who use passive study methods. The sixth principle is feedback. Getting accurate information about your performance and using it to improve. Without feedback, you can practice for years without getting better. The key is finding immediate, accurate feedback sources and being willing to face uncomfortable truths about your current abilities. Ray Dalio, the billionaire founder of Bridgewater Associates, built his entire investment philosophy around this principle. He created what he calls radical transparency in his company, where everyone receives constant, honest feedback about their performance. He also keeps detailed records of his investment decisions and regularly reviews what went right and wrong. This obsession with feedback helped him become one of the most successful investors in history, even though he experienced many failures along the way. The seventh principle is retention, using techniques to remember what you have learned for the long term. Many people learn something quickly but forget it just as fast. Ultralearners use specific strategies like spaced repetition, connecting new information to existing knowledge, and creating meaningful associations to ensure their learning sticks. Consider how medical students at Johns Hopkins approach learning anatomy. Instead of cramming before exams, they use spaced repetition software that shows them information at increasing intervals. They also create vivid mental stories connecting body parts and functions. For example, they might imagine the heart as a house with 4 rooms, each with specific functions. This approach helps them retain complex medical knowledge for years, not just until the next test. The eighth principle is intuition, developing a deep understanding that goes beyond memorizing facts and formulas. True mastery comes when you can explain concepts in simple terms and apply them to new situations. This requires moving beyond surface-level knowledge to genuine comprehension. Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, was famous for this principle. He could explain the most complex physics concepts in terms that anyone could understand. His secret was what is now called the Feynman technique. He would try to explain concepts as if teaching them to a child. If he could not explain something simply, he knew he did not truly understand it. This approach helped him make breakthrough discoveries in quantum physics and become one of the most respected teachers in science. The ninth and final principle is experimentation, trying different approaches and techniques to find what works best for you. No single method works for everyone, so ultralearners are constantly testing and refining their strategies. They treat learning as a laboratory where they can experiment with different techniques. Tim Ferriss embodies this experimental approach to learning. When he wanted to learn Japanese, he experimented with dozens of different methods. He tried traditional textbooks, language apps, conversation partners, and even comic books. He discovered that learning through Japanese television dramas with subtitles worked best for him, because it combined visual context with emotional engagement. This experimental mindset allowed him to learn languages, skills, and subjects much faster than conventional approaches would suggest. These 6 principles of ultralearning can transform how you approach any skill or subject. Whether you want to advance your career, learn a new hobby, or master a difficult subject, these strategies will help you learn faster and more effectively than you ever thought possible. The key is to start small and be consistent. Pick one skill you want to improve and apply these principles systematically. Remember, ultralearning is not about being perfect from the beginning. It is about being strategic, focused, and persistent in your approach to learning. What skill are you going to Ultralearn next? Leave a comment below and let me know what you want to master. If this video helped you understand how to learn more effectively, make sure to subscribe for more book summaries and learning strategies. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest content that can transform your life and career.